Pharrell, I'm a little bit confused by the shoes. Now, I ain't trying to roast Pharrell. Pharrell Williams he usually does not miss. He is a living icon. Drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. However, what in the orthopedic shoes are these? I don't know. I'd say I'm reasonable. Okay, that's completely unreasonable. I'm reasonable.
I'm unreasonable.
You have no idea just how reasonable I have been.
Reasonable synonyms are sensible, rational, practical, fair, appropriate. Fitting, suitable, logical. All things I would definitely say describe me. Do they describe you?
Welcome to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson.
I'm reasonable. Hey. On a scale from... Wait, that's not how we start. Welcome to another episode of I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. I'm Zainab Johnson. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, on a scale from friends to living single, how reasonable have we been this week? Keep your head up, what? Keep your head up. That's right. They have a new podcast coming, and they didn't ask me to say anything, but I will be listening. And so will you? Hosted by Erica Alexander and Kim Coles. And those are two very funny women, iconic in my opinion. And so I'm really, really looking forward to that. But this ain't that. So let's talk about what this is. On this episode of I'm Reasonable, we are going to talk about the Met Gala. We're going to go through some of the looks. And we are going to talk about Diddy. The jury... assembling the jury has started. This is, as I am taping right now, it has been 2 days since they started to assemble the jury in, this highly anticipated trial for Sean Diddy Combs. But before we talk about, and we do have the Ask Z, and we're going to get to the Ask Z today, okay? But before any and all of that, make sure that you guys, are subscribing to the podcast. Make sure that you're following me on social media. All of those links are in the details of this podcast. And you can see me live, of course, right? So first of all, thank you so much to everybody that came out to my Arlington shows at the Arlington Improv in Arlington, Texas. Thank you so much for coming out. I had such a good time. And I am so pleasantly surprised as I continue to do this show and I continue to perform live with my stand-up. I am so pleasantly surprised at all of the people that come out because they listen to me on I'm Reasonable. This is fantastic. So thank you so much. Next up, I will be in Burbank, California, May 22nd for one night only. I'm actually going to be workshopping a bunch of new jokes. So that is in Burbank, California on May 22nd. And then May 23rd and 24th, I will be in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That will be my first time. I think it's my first time in the entire state of Oklahoma. But I do know that Tulsa specifically has some history that I'm very interested in diving into. And so I hope that I can, maybe go on some tours or I'm really looking forward to this, aside from getting on stage and meeting all the people in Tulsa who come to the show, but I'm really looking forward to spending some time in that city. So again, that's May 23rd and 24th, Tulsa, Oklahoma. May 30th is Atlanta, Georgia. 2 shows, one night, May 30th, Atlanta, Georgia. June 5th, St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis, I'm from Lou, and I'm proud. That's June 5th. St. Louis, Missouri. And then June 6th through the 8th, I will be in Kansas City, Missouri. It don't matter if you're in Kansas City, Kansas or Kansas City, Missouri. It's the same distance. Trust me. It's one person that's in Kansas City, Kansas. Technically, shut your ass up. That is June 6th through the 8th. You can see me in Kansas City, Missouri. And then June 13th and 14th, I will be in San Francisco, California, June 13th and 14th, San Francisco, California at Cobb's Comedy Club in San Francisco, California. And June 19th through the 21st, I will be in Baltimore, Maryland. June 19th through the 21st, Baltimore, Maryland at Magooby's Comedy Club. It's actually called Magooby's Joke House, and it's actually in Timonium. It don't matter. If you in Baltimore, that's where you going to see me at, okay? Then June 27th and 28th, Tampa, Florida. June 27th and 28th, Tampa, Florida. I believe I just added another date, which is July 12th and 13th, July 11th and 12th. July 11th and 12th, I'm coming to Jersey. Every time I go to New York, I go to Philly, I go to DC, I go to anywhere in the, kind of tri-state area or surrounding. People be like, but when you coming to Jersey? I be like, well, this is kind of close to Jersey. Now I'm coming to Jersey. I don't know where specifically in Jersey. Like I know, but it's not in front of me right now. But just know, if you are in Jersey and you don't want to go through over a bridge or through a tunnel to see me, then July 11th and 12th, I will be in maybe Hackensack. I don't think it's Hackensack. It's not Hackensack. I know it's not Hackensack, but it's in Jersey. Then July 18th, I said July 11th and 12th, right, for Jersey? Okay. July 18th and 19th, Stamford, Connecticut. July 18th and 19th, Stamford, Connecticut. And then July 21st through the 26th, London, England. London, England, July 21st through the 26th. Then I will be at the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, Scotland. I will be there for a very long time. But then back in the States, September 5th through the 6th, Seattle, Washington. September 7th, Portland, Oregon. September 26th and 27th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Cleveland is being rescheduled. So right now on my schedule, it says Cleveland is October 10th and 11th. It's actually going to be moved because I'm coming back to DC. I'm coming back to DC for one night only. For a really big event, a really big comedy festival. I will be in DC October 10th or 11th during that time. And so Cleveland is being rescheduled. Don't worry. I will get you the new Cleveland date. I think the Cleveland date at this point will be like the Halloween weekend. But when it is finalized, I will, of course, let you guys know. October 17th through the 19th, West Nyack, New York. November 13th through the 15th, Texas, Houston, baby. I don't know why every time I say every time I say Houston, I be like, baby. What? November 21st and 22nd, Detroit, Michigan. December 5th through the 7th, Addisson. Now, here's the thing, Addisson, Texas. Now, here's the thing. I was in Arlington. And I think Arlington, Dallas, Fort Worth, Addison, they're all like really close neighboring cities, right? And markets. And so a couple of people that was at the Arlington show was like, okay, we saw you coming back. We see you coming to Addison in December. We're going to be there too. And let me tell y'all, I love for everybody that comes to my show. If you only ever come to my show one time, I really do appreciate you. But this y'all special group of people that be like, it don't matter where you are, I'ma be there. I don't care how many times, I don't care. Every single time I can see you, I'm going to see you. There was a lovely couple. They were at my shows at the Dallas Comedy Club last year. And then they were at my Arlington show Sunday night. They flew. They flew all the way from California. Where they had just got married. Shout out to Michelle and Brandon. Congratulations on your new nuptials. But they flew back after their wedding to come to my show on a Sunday night. To come to my show, and they made that a part of their celebration. I was like, what artists do I like enough to include them in my wedding weekend? So let me tell y'all, there's a special breed of y'all. The support is unwavering, and let me just tell you what, it does not go unnoticed or unappreciated. Thank you so much. And so that group of people, a few, not Michelle and Brandon, but there was another group of ladies that come out to see me when I'm in that area. And they was like, when you come to Addisson, like we'll be there because they really like the vibe in Addisson. I never been to Addisson, but apparently, well, Arlington was great. But they claim that Addisson is a vibe. So I'm gonna be in Addisson December 5th through the 7th. So if you saw me in Arlington and want to see me again, then come to Addisson. If you miss me, then just know I've been told Addisson is a vibe. And then December 12th and 13th, I will be in Dayton, Kentucky. That is the Cincinnati area. So if you in Dayton, Kentucky, cool, come to the show. I'd love to see you. If you in Cincinnati, waiting for me to announce Cincinnati, this is your date. This is your date, December 12th and 13th, Dayton, Kentucky, Cincinnati area. Like I said, the link to these tickets are in the details of this podcast. So all you got to do is scroll down, click on the link, get you your tickets. Any of the tickets that are not on sale yet, like some of the fall dates, like Philadelphia, Houston, Detroit, any of these tickets that are not on sale yet, it's just because it's kind of too early in the year. They usually go on sale about 3 months in advance. That's usually the earliest for most artists. And so just save the date in your calendar. I'll keep posting. I'll keep talking about it. And it'll be on sale. And then you grab those tickets. Okay? I did already say hit the subscribe button. But there's nothing wrong with a little bit of a reminder, right? A little bit of a nudging. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you like what you hear and want to share it, then hit the thumbs up and, hit that share. Hit that arrow button and share it. Okay. What's up with Z? I'm looking at my notes. I didn't even write a what's up with Z. What's up with me? I saw this meme yesterday. It wasn't a meme. It was a TikTok. I always see TikToks. I saw this TikTok and this girl was like, adult friendships be like, and she said, and when you're an adult, you could call your friend and be like, hey girl, what you doing? You want to go get some, you want to go get something to eat? How about we go get some lunch? I'm craving a burger. And then your adult friend hits you back like, dang, I can't do it today. How about July of 2026? She said, girl, I'm hungry right now and I would like a burger right now. I thought that was so funny because right as it was happening, a friend of mine she lives in LA, but she was in New York for like the past month or something. She hit me right before she got back to town. And she was like, hey, I'm flying back in on Monday. Are you going to be in town? And I was like, yeah, I'm flying back in on Monday too. I was like, you want to go, you want to have dinner? Blah. Right as it was happening, she was calling me talking about, hey, I'm sorry. I got this and this and this to do. You want to get together for lunch September 2029? And right as I was looking at it, so I just thought it was really funny. And it made me think, like, do we do a good job as adults prioritizing our friendships? Like I do love those friendships where I don't have to see you or talk to you every day, but every time we get together, every time we do talk, it is like we never skip the beat. I really, really love that. But I don't know. I think fellowship is like really, really important. There's people that I talk to every day. And there's only one person actually in my life that I don't talk to every day. This is like one of my closest friends that I don't talk to every day. But when I talk to her, it's like we talk every day, every minute. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Do you guys think that you do a good job at prioritizing your adult friendships? Like in all, in all the hustle and bustle of it all, do you think that I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Okay. What do we want to talk first? What do we want to talk first? Let's go with Diddy. Okay. So they're starting to pick jurors, in Diddy's criminal case. And so they haven't let cameras inside the courtroom, but Diddy has been obviously there as they're picking jurors. And the judge granted that he did not have to wear the jail uniform, but instead he could wear like he could wear a suit that was brought to him from the outside. He could wear shoes, but they couldn't have like laces, et cetera, et cetera. But so the only images that you get to see online right now, or that I've seen online, are the renderings, the artist renderings that they draw in the courtroom. And the ones that I see, it's like it kind of blew my mind. Like I expect him to be thinner, as some journalists, some media personalities that have been allowed into the courtroom, that have been describing him on their platform, have said that he's, thinner but still sort of is maintaining like his, I don't want to say persona, and I don't want to say they've said that he looks like he's in high spirits, but like he's still maintaining a certain degree of his swag. That's a good way to put it. And so I definitely expect for a person who is used to dining in the finest establishments and probably having chefs and really decadent meals and all of that, to then go to prison and drop some weight. I'm definitely going to drop weight if I ever have to go to prison. Inshallah, that's not even a part of my story, but if I ever do, just know I'm coming out. I'm away 108 pounds when I get out of the situation. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna weigh 108 pounds, and I'm probably gonna be kind of brolic, because I'm probably gonna be doing. I'm probably gonna just start one day, like, let me drop down and do 5 push-ups, and then depending on how long I'm in there, I'm probably gonna be doing 500 push-ups a day. You know what I'm saying? And probably eating a spoonful of peanut butter every day. I don't even know. So I expected him to be thinner, right? But what I didn't expect was for his hair to be so white. Like the fact that Diddy ain't been promoting or creating or selling hair dye for men before he got locked up is crazy. Like I was like, it's only like for you to look like Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence at the end of the Life movie after only 8 months in jail. He was sitting in that courtroom looking like Ray and Claude. I'm like, yo, that is if you are able to make it out of this, I have no idea. Whatever happens, Diddy, you got to call your people inside or out. You got to call your people and you got to let them know this is a business that I need to embark on. Because if you was dyeing your hair that much that you kind of forgot, or you ain't want nobody to know, now we know you are testimony. Because like I be seeing so many male celebrities and they hit with they dye job. It be looking so crazy. I feel like I never saw Diddy and his dye job wasn't looking good. I don't know. Maybe he might have looked like he had just slayed on some just for men. You know what I'm saying? Some relaxer in his hair, a S curl, something. Maybe, I'm not sure. But I don't feel like I ever saw it where you could see his hairline painted on, or you could see his beard dripping, or it was too dark. You get what I'm saying? Or I don't feel like I ever saw that. So this is a business that he really needs to look into. Matter of fact, when he get out, he should go to a baseball game. Because that's exactly where Ray and Claude went. When they got out of jail, they went right to Yankee Stadium or Met Stadium. I don't know. I can't remember where they went. I think they went to Yankee Stadium. Go to a baseball game because you look like a senior citizen. And I respectfully, like ain't nothing wrong with looking like a senior citizen. It's just, I ain't expect you to look like that after 8 months, Anywho, so I've been hearing a lot of people talk about or discuss the term jury of your peers, right? Because it's unsurprisingly so, probably very difficult to pick a jury for any celebrity that is as big as Diddy. Right? Like, I feel like it, not just as big as Diddy, but I feel like as current. Like he's not like he was a big celebrity and we kind of ain't seen him since like 92. No, he has sustained and has grown his celebrity profile larger and larger up until this point in his life, right? And so I imagine it's very hard to pick someone that does not know him, someone that isn't familiar with the public scrutiny, public opinion, people who don't know someone that knows someone, people who have not seen that Cassie video where he, abused her, physically abused her at that hotel. And they're asking questions which we are going to get into, but I've heard a couple of people discussing in my personal life and on, social platforms discussing the term jury of your peers. And I at one point thought that it was as simple as they just choose it by your zip code, right? Because jury of your peers is ideally supposed to mean that the people judging you, they look like your community. And I always thought that they oversimplified the term community because at one point we did live amongst each other, right? You did most of the time live amongst the people that you were most like, right? Just because of racism and capitalism and social, you know what I'm saying? Like just because of those issues, right? So your community literally meant people who look like you, come from the same place that you come from, have very similar, if not the same backgrounds, right? But then they must have had to sort of expand that definition because I remember when A$AP Rocky was on trial and the complaint when they were choosing his jurors was that they wasn't looking like him. They wasn't looking like people who were, part of his community at all. And then I remembered A$AP Rocky always talks about his primary address being in Soho, right? Which is not a very diverse neighborhood in Manhattan. And so if the jury notices are going to all of the people that live in that neighborhood, if you expecting to get black family people in there, people to, then you're not about to see that, right? But I looked it up just because I wanted to, I don't know. I felt like it was important to get the actual definition to jury of your peers, of our peers, so that everybody knows what forget the prosecution, but the defense mostly, because the defense is the one that's trying to get their client out, right? What they're looking for, right? So while the ideal of a jury of your peers implies the jury reflecting the community, as I said, especially the defendant's community, the actual selection process is not solely based on zip codes. I thought it was solely based on zip codes. It's not solely based on zip codes. Federal law requires juries to be a fair cross-section of the community, which is broader than just zip code representation. Jurors are typically selected from voter lists and sometimes driver's license lists with the goal of ensuring a representative group. Now, I don't know what type of driver's license list. How do you even get on a particular list? Because my driver's license, the only thing, it's sure, my driver's license says my height, it says my weight, it says my ethnic makeup, it says my birth date, but then it says my address. So I still believe, as much as it's not solely based on that, I still believe it got a lot to do with your zip code. Which is probably why they was working real hard to get jurors. I was too young for this, but in the OJ truck, because he lived in Brentwood. But they managed, Johnny Cochran, I be saying that, A lot of this stuff would not happen on Johnny Cochran's watch. Anyway, a jury of your peers in a legal context means a jury composed of individuals from the same community or with similar characteristics as the defendant. So that's where we move away from this. It's like, yeah, we're going to start with, part of this pool is, we pulling from your actual zip code. But aside from that, and within that, we are trying to pull people who have similar characteristics. Now, the defendant is going to try and pull people who have similar characteristics to them, and the prosecution is going to try and pick people who have similar characteristics to the alleged victim, right? This is supposed to ensure an impartial and fair trial. The right is guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, and the goal is to have jurors who can understand the defendant's situation and render a verdict based on the evidence rather than potential biases. I have never served. I've never been on jury duty. I have been sent a card maybe once or twice, and I can't remember why I was never chosen. Part of me does want to be a juror. I don't want to be like sequestered and I don't want to have to spend like, I feel like if you're a juror on a Diddy case, I feel like this is going to be maybe a long time, It's just like, I'm referencing like O.J. Simpson stuff. I only know O.J. stuff because of the FX show that starred Courtney B. Vance as Johnny Cochran and Cuba Gooding Jr. as O.J. Simpson and, and Sterling K. Brown. I feel like that was the first time I saw Sterling K. Brown. I think. Anywho, so I'm referencing the show, not really news stories from that time. But they were there for a long time. Them people was going crazy. Locked up in that hotel. I think as a juror, they only pay you like $5 or $15 a day. You got to be, you know what I'm saying? You can't watch TV. You can't have any like access to sort of like outside media because they're trying to prevent any biases, Anywho, I imagine that Diddy's trial is going to be a long one. And of course I would have failed. Not failed, but I was thinking about it. Who's trial I could be a juror on? What's the white lady? It's a white lady that I think she allegedly she murdered her like law enforcement boyfriend or something like that. What's her name? Karen Reed. Let me tell you what. Every single time I turn on my TV in the morning, she be on the news. Every single morning since this, I think it's a retrial, has started, she has been on my TV. But I tell you what, if she was the cashier checking me out at a Nordstrom rack, I would not know. I could be on that jury. If they was like, hey, have you ever seen this white woman before? I would be like, forgive me, white ladies. I love y'all. Don't let there be other white women also in the courtroom. I'm gonna be like, now how is she different from her? Who? Y'all, my white sisters, don't even pay me no mind. Don't pay me no mind. I love y'all. But every time this lady come on my TV, they got to reintroduce her to me. Because I be like, what is happening? And then they tell me the story. And then and this morning when it was on, I was like, damn, I could be a jury. I could be a juror on this case. Because I'm not retaining none of this information. And she is on my TV every single day. And I'm not retaining her face or the information. Like I said, it is up to the lawyers, both the prosecution and the defense, to choose the demo that's best gonna serve you. Like it might not just be if I was on trial, it might not just be it might not just be black women, depending on the crime. Like with Diddy in particular, it's like they got to ask questions like, have you ever, been a victim of domestic violence? Have you ever witnessed domestic violence? What kind of music do you listen to? Like, it's kind of like a wide range that they really have to ask and assess. Like, can you be, because that's what they're ultimately trying to figure out. Like, can you be unbiased? Or if you are going to be biased, is this bias going to work in our favor? Right? If it seems like the bias is going to work in the favor of Diddy, then I imagine the prosecution is going to be like, nah, we can't have them as a juror. And if the bias is going to work in favor of the prosecution, then I imagine that the defense is like, oh yeah, nah, we can't have them as a juror. Like I said, I think that this is the most difficult when you are someone as famous as Sean Puffy Diddy Combs. Let's see what they were actually asking the jurors. That's what I wanted to tell you guys. So like I said, me taping this right now, this is the day 2 of them, questioning potential jurors. So potential jurors, this is according to USA Today, potential jurors were questioned for a second day in the Sean Diddy Combs sweeping federal sex crimes trial, a high-profile case with ties across the entertainment industry that's expected to stretch on for months. I said it was going to go on for a long time. The embattled hip-hop mogul, you could always tell people, writers, the embattled. I ain't never said embattled in my life, but I'll probably say it after this. The embattled hip-hop mogul, who at one time was amongst the most powerful forces in the American culture, has experienced a sharp fall from grace. Okay, we know that. Jurors on May 6th, today, the day I'm taping, were repeatedly asked if they or a family member or friend have been a victim of sexual assault, sexual harassment, or domestic violence, and whether they or a loved one has ever been charged or accused of these crimes. One question that was particularly interesting for some of the jurors was, have you communicated to others? This is very interesting. Have you communicated to others, posted your opinion on social media or online, or liked any social media post about Diddy? If so, when and where did you post or state your opinion? They'd have had to get me up out of there. The moment I stood up and they asked, have you communicated your opinion? I would have been like, shameless plug, have you ever listened to a show called I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson? Yeah, at some point I was talking about a freak off is a freak off, and you know what I'm saying, the description is in the title, and too many people was worried about the baby oil. Now, I don't know if that is, good or bad for you, but maybe if you want to go back and listen to that episode and then come back and tell me if I'm qualified to be a juror. I wouldn't have even made it through the whole sentence before they was like, okay, you're dismissed. And then on the walkout, I would have been like, make sure you check out my website, ZainabJohnson.com, for tickets to my live shows. This is not funny. This is people's lives. As the case continues, prosecutors also asked potential jurors about their feelings on law enforcement and experiences with the government. I imagine that they're probably asking that because, again, going back to the trial of OJ on FX, because there's part of that narrative where it's like, this is a conspiracy to take down powerful black men. This is a conspiracy by the man, the system, the government, law enforcement, to take down, disparage, and cripple black male celebrities. And so I imagine that's why they're asking that question. They would have been like, Ms. Johnson, do you have opinions or feelings on law enforcement and experience with the government? I would have been like, how much time do you have? Again, do you listen to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson? It comes out every Wednesday on YouTube. We do a weekend live on Sundays. Do you want me to pull it up real quick? We even wore all cream on the 50th episode. They would be like, ma'am, if you don't get out the courtroom. And I would be like, I told y'all, put me on that white lady's trial. I don't even know why you got me here with Diddy. The way I Diddy pop, the way I sang, every day I pray, every night I be missing you. I don't even know why y'all got me here. The way I said, take that, take that. I don't know why y'all got me here. But if it helps, I have never in my life had Ciroc. Or DeLeon, is that what it's called? Anywho. So apparently what I wanted to tell you guys about the media and as they pick the jurors, and I think going forward with his trial, is apparently it's basically a first come, first serve. Like there's some media outlets that just have credentials that allow them in, but for the most part, like the majority of the media, it's a first come, first serve basis. And so I saw a news story where people, first of all, they showed the line outside of the courtroom for the media on the first day. The line was down the block like they was waiting for a new PlayStation to be released. And people are paying people to stand in line to hold their place because the line is forming like the night before to make sure that you have a spot to get into the courtroom. And if you are probably a part of the media and you have to do, all types of, you probably can't line up every day at midnight, then sit through the entire thing, then report report your findings and do that every day. When would you sleep? So they're paying people. They're paying people to stand in line, and the going rate right now is on average is $25. There were some people being paid slightly less than that. There were people being paid more than that, up to $35. Either way, $25 is much higher than New York City's minimum wage. And let's say you getting online at midnight, because now that they know people getting paid to stand online, they're going to have people lining up earlier and earlier and earlier. They're going to have people with tents out there, chairs, portable radios. I don't know why you need a portable radio if you got a cell phone, but okay, whatever. I'm just setting the scene, And let's say the courtroom opens at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. That's an 8-hour shift for $25 an hour. Let me just tell y'all what. If I was a gig worker in New York City right now, with healthy limbs, I would definitely take that job. I would definitely take that. That's work for the next couple of months. And you basically working like the graveyard shift. You basically working from midnight to 8 a.m. And that's kind of like tax-free money. Yeah, I would definitely. Would y'all tell me? tell me if y'all think that that's reasonable or not, please. Would you take that job? Now, of course, if I have a career, of course, if I'm going to school, of course, if I'm a teacher, of course, if I already have employment, then no, I can't take the job. But if I were a gig worker specifically, do you think it's reasonable for gig workers to take that job? Like $25 an hour? $35 an hour? I'll charge my laptop, get especially during this time of the year, we in the warmer months. It ain't like they got to be out there, at least not at this point. They got to be out there January, February. You out there May, the worst it's going to do is rain. May, June, July, warm months. And you just sitting there probably meeting interesting people, talking, getting to know people. I would come out of this with some money and probably a book or a movie written. What y'all think? Okay, the Met Gala, and of course, like we ain't got to spend a whole bunch of time on it because this is it started and it's gonna be an ongoing thing, right? And so yeah, just like you, I'm watching, and when things seem like we should talk about them, or I want to talk about it, then I'll bring it to you guys. All right, the Met Gala. The Met Gala. The Met Gala happens every year. The Met Gala, the theme for this year's Met Gala was super fine Tailoring Black Style, with a dress code of tailored for you. This year's event marked the first time in over 2 decades that the Met Gala focused exclusively on menswear. The theme and the dress code was inspired by Monica L. Miller's book, Slaves to Fashion, which explores the Black dandy and the importance of tailoring to the Black identity. You know what I love about the Met Gala? What I love about me personally, what I love about the Met Gala is I get introduced to so many people that I do not know. I feel like 90% of the people that do the Met Gala red carpet, I be like, now who is that? Who are these people? I be like, okay, who is? I don't know that. Okay. It's like you really got to pay attention to the style. Because I don't be knowing who these people are. One of the reasons is that I don't be knowing who they are. Part of it is personal. It's just me. I am way too comfortable not knowing who people are. But also, you know, fashion is often not publicized by the designer or the creative directors, but it's publicized by the actual clothing, right? Or celebrities wearing the clothing. But yeah, I would just be looking at the pictures like, now who is that? Who is that? Oh, I know them. Who? What? Some people, if they outfit is like a good enough outfit, then I will Google like who they are, you know, just to just for like context, you know. But like I said, the theme was Black Dandyism. Dandyism is often, according to Vogue.com, often described as a style, but it's more than just aesthetics. The original dandy, most famously embodied by figures like Beau Brummel in 18th century Britain, was a man whose primary purpose was to stand out by being impeccably groomed and dressed. Brummel, whose personal motto was, "Don't talk about your clothes, let the clothes do the talking," revolutionized fashion by elevating personal style to an art form. He rejected the flamboyance of past aristocratic dress, favoring understated, sharp tailoring that emphasized refinement over ostentation. For the mandy that is a dandy, for the dandy, fashion was a vehicle for both self-expression and a subtle form of rebellion against societal norms. And that rebellious streak is just as present in Black dandyism, though here the stakes are higher. Black dandyism has always been about more than aesthetics. It has been about identity, power, and resistance. In a world where Black people have been marginalized, the dandy became a figure who defied the rigid categories of race and class that sought to confine them. This is kind of like the first Met Gala theme that I was like fully on, like, ooh, that's because it felt important. And I don't want to diminish any themes before this because I am not really in the fashion world. Like I am into fashion, or the art world, you know, sometimes, I always tell this story. When I was at the Louvre, I was like, I just don't get it. You know, that doesn't mean that I don't see artwork that really, you know, impresses upon me or really resonates with me. That happens, and it happens often. But I don't know, a lot of like, I watched this interview. I wonder if I could find it to show you guys, with Viola Davis, and she was talking about being a skilled Black actress, and she was saying that she is constantly being measured against what the performance of white acting is. She was like, and while she studied and was taught how to do all of the classics, to be good at that kind of diminishes what she brings, what she brings to the table, and what a lot of Black artists, a lot of Black performers bring to the table. It's like you trying to confine this art, and so you're judging me off of this thing that was never made for me or to service me anyway. And that's how I feel a lot when I look at like art, or I read books that are supposed to be like, oh, this is like a historic classic. This is like an artist that I be like, okay, I guess it's just not for me. It's not really speaking for me, you know. But when Ryan Coogler shows like, you know, ancient African imagery of dancers, you know, tribal dancers, and moves that into, you know, a DJ scratching a record player and a girl twerking, I'm like, this I get. This I get. Anywho, I did really like the theme. I don't know if visually it was the most visually appealing Met Gala that I guess seen since I've been familiar, but whatever, we'll get into it. Let's start with Domingo Coleman. I'm be very honest with you. He looks great. But I was so surprised because this is like the most tamed I have ever seen Coleman Domingo on a red carpet. Like, I mean, he looks fantastic, right? But I don't know. I always thought that like the Met Gala was, you have this theme, and because it's about art and fashion, this is the place where you take the most risks, right? More, your look would be more risky than it would be on the red carpet for the Academy Awards or the Emmys or the Tonys or the Grammys, et cetera, right? I don't feel like this was risky. Is it dandy? Absolutely. Does he look fantastic? Absolutely. But I feel like if I saw him online at Trader Joe's, I would just be like, ooh, you look nice. But I wouldn't be like, where you going? The Met Gala is that way. I just feel like I would be like, brother, you are sharp. But I mean, maybe that's all I was supposed to say. I think this was his outfit. This cape was his outfit before we actually saw the suit. This ain't for me. This looked like he either was a few days late for Pope Francis's funeral, or he trying to be the next pope, or he in that scene right before Sister Mary Clarence was like, take off the robes. Take off the robes. If you're going to go out there, at least you should be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I'm saying? Then Lauryn Hill did her thing, and you know what I'm saying? And then Sister Act 2, they won the competition. That's what he looked like to me. This was one of my faves. One of my absolute favorites was Janelle Monáe. It was like an outfit within an outfit. I feel like her outfit was like the Russian doll equivalent of outfits, you know? Like everybody was looking for Michael B. Jordan on this carpet because they felt like Stacks and Smoke were the epitome of like Black dandyism, right? His character in Sinners. And so they expected him to, I don't know, show up and represent that in some way at the Met Gala. I don't believe he was there. But let me just tell you what, Janelle Monáe did it. Janelle Monáe did it for you. It's both looking like Stacks and Smoke. Okay? And I mean, I'm saying it's like two sides of the same coin, you know, two very different sides of the same coin. Like, I just, because it's almost like if the box match whatever inside the box. You get what I'm saying? You ever have somebody do that? You ever have somebody give you a gift and they wrap it and the outside look like what's in the inside, and you like, oh, this is, it's really like this on the inside. That's what, you know what I'm saying? Hers look like the pattern and the execution of the pattern. And I'm not surprised. And I feel like this falls right in line with Janelle Monáe's original aesthetic. You know, I'm not surprised that she showed up and did well. Lauryn Hill was another one of my favorites. Apparently, this yellow is the color of the season. I really love Lauryn Hill. Clearly, she got there on time because the photographers are still out on the carpet. I loved how she's wearing all yellow. It's not just a suit. But there's extravagance there. You get what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, if I just saw her in the suit without all the stuff attached and the train and everything in Trader Joe's, I would be like, that's a badass suit, ma'am. But with all the other stuff, I'm like, oh, you got off on the wrong exit. The Met Gala, make 2 rights and then a left, and then you going to see a grand staircase. Yeah, that is not true. I am in Los Angeles and they are in New York. But I loved it, and I love the blue bag. If you pay attention to the details, and I'm going to talk about it later, even her gloves, she has on gloves. And it's like the suit is doing so much. You like, what do you even need gloves on? Because we're dandy. When we dandy, we ain't touching stuff with our bare hands. What you think this is? But I love the blue bag because it's like it's menswear, right? And so I love, a lot of times I hear like, flat fashion bloggers and media people say like, oh, I don't like to see a bag on a red carpet. I don't like to see a woman holding a bag on a red carpet. But in terms of menswear, it's like, it's always like a briefcase. It's always like men be having paperwork, especially in the 18th century or something like that. They be having paperwork. They had documents. They had stuff to sign. You know what I'm saying? You can't just send the email. You can't just get you had to bring it to you. You had to travel. When important documents had to get somewhere, that means you had to travel with them. So I love the blue top handle bag and the burgundy tie. I just felt like it was really beautiful and felt very much dandy and opulent, as I said. So I don't really love this Tessa Thompson. I think she looks good. I think Tessa Thompson, one thing she know how to do is sell her look. Like Tessa Thompson, no matter what you put her in, she know how to sell it on a red carpet. And I love, and this carpet is not red, it's blue, and it has flower accents on it. But what Tessa knows how to do is she really knows how to like take the good picture, you know? And I really do like the details. Like the tie is like, I don't know, it kind of looks almost like patent leather, where the hat looks like it's like she playing with blacks, but it's all different fabrics. I said it's not my favorite. The more I get into it, the more I really love it. Only thing is, it looked like she about to star in a Tim Burton movie. Yeah, it looked like The Night Before Christmas and All Through the House. It looked like if Edward Scissorhands, needed a mistress. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not quite, but she definitely looks like she's definitely in a Tim Burton story. And if that's what she want to be in, then girl, I wish that for you. I love this. I think this person's name is Anna Sawai, I think. I love it. I absolutely love this. I don't know if it's black and dandy, but I know I want it in my closet. I just love how beautiful it looks on her, the simplicity. I love that she's holding the gloves because, like I said, our hands, dandy hands don't touch things, you know? Zendaya had the same look in mind. This is the first time, I think. Zendaya looks fantastic, as she always does. But this is the first time, I think, somebody wore kind of something really, really close to Zendaya, and I liked them in it over Zendaya. I don't know if it's the stance. I don't know if it's the fit of the suit, if it's the fabric, but I'm really liking Anna Sawai versus Zendaya, although they both look great. I love Doechii. And she looks fine. But it doesn't look like she took a risk, you know? It looks like how people look when they first get money and they just buy a bunch of monogram designer stuff. I guess that is black dandyism to a certain degree, right? Clearly I like a suit because everybody that I'm showing y'all is going to be in a suit. I liked Lupita's look. I didn't love it, but I really did like it. A woman in a menswear inspired suit, it's going to get me every single time. It is going to get me every single time. And what I really like about Lupita's look, if you look on this carpet, so many people wore black and gray and white, like and I just loved any person that was able to achieve this black dandy men's tailored suit, but was able to add a pop of color without going away from the actual theme. And I feel like Lupita did that. But what I really love about Lupita's look, sometimes Lupita is she is always like a very stunning woman, right? Like an undeniably beautiful woman. And because she is an undeniably beautiful woman, in my opinion, sometimes they understate her makeup. Sometimes they be making her makeup just like they just really underserve her face. Like, she's so beautiful, we ain't got to do nothing. But it's like, no, you do have to do something. There are ways where you can accentuate this beauty. And I feel like with this look, what they did with the eyebrow, what they did with her makeup, period, it's like I see dimension, I see color. The skin doesn't look like ashy. The skin looks really like they accentuated her undertones, which are really, really like dark burgundy undertones. But then also they put these like gems or glitter or something in her eyebrows. And I just thought it was just like, I just really, really loved her makeup. I just really feel like it accentuated her look. And it's like she's not overly done up. She don't look like sculpted. She don't look like a drag queen, but they didn't leave her face bare. And a lot of times I feel like they leave Lupita's face bare. Now, it does look like with one gust of wind and a real passive gust of wind, that hat ain't going to be her hat no more. But she still look great. Pharrell, I'm a little bit confused by the shoes. Now, I ain't trying to roast Pharrell. Pharrell Williams he usually does not miss when it comes to fashion, which is why Louis Vuitton has him as their creative director, I believe, right now, right? He is a living icon. You know what I'm saying? Drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. However, what in the orthopedic shoes are these? Pharrell looked like he wearing them ballet flats that the girls put in a purse to throw on after a long night at the club. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we wearing a 4-inch stilettos to the club, but as soon as we done having our fun for the night, we not walking to the car barefoot no more, because that is unsanitary, right? But we got these little fold-up ballet things that you buy from a vending machine at the airport. We got those in our bag now. You just plop them out your bag. You let them unfold. You get what I'm saying? Like it's a foam mattress that you ordered in the mail, and you put them joints on your feet and you walk to the car. Grab you some French fries and take your behind home. That's what it looked like Pharrell got on. And I'm so surprised at the cut of the pants, because it's like he really wanted to show the shoes. It almost looked like he just found out he got a wide foot. Like, dang, Pharrell, yeah, no, we bought you the LVs, the patent leather with the tie up, but we brought narrow. Yeah, well, my bunion been acting up crazy lately, so I ain't gonna be able to put on those. But you know what? Let me just grab these from the pharmacy real quick. That's what that looked like to me, respectfully. I like the Beats aesthetic. The beats, I don't know if the beats look good, but I like that they came together and did it together. Like, I don't know if it looks nice, but I like it. I like Alicia Keys' head. Only thing I don't like is the do-rag on Swiss. That's the only thing I don't like, but I like what the beats came and did. I have no idea who Hunter Schafer is, but I like this. It definitely looked like she could have been in Oprah Winfrey Presents The Butler. But I like it. I really like it. And I think what's setting it off for me is like the all white layer turtleneck under the high collar shirt, buttoned all the way to the top, under the double lapel. You know what I'm saying? Crop top. Like, I just love it all white with the white tan to the side. Because we was black, we was dandy, and we were also in Paris. And like I said, she got the gloves because dandy hands don't touch. How many times do I have to tell y'all? Dandy hands do not get dirty. But then it's like the all black. It's like all white, but then she put all black on. So I just love it. Whoever you are, girl, you did it. You did it for me. Notice I ain't really showing women in fitted dresses. I ain't showing the sexy dresses. I ain't showing the legs. I ain't showing the slits up the legs. I'm be honest with you guys, I'm over that part of fashion. Like when we talking about fashion and we talking about art, we got to let the sexy go. Sexy is not showing your boobies and not showing your butt and not showing your thighs and not showing your cleavage no more. And I'm not body shaming. I'm not like, that's all, it's just like LaRoche told Angel Reese. When Angel Reese asked LaRoche, she was like, so what style tip would you give me? He was like, I would say, put on some clothes. Yeah, I want to see you with like a lot of clothes on. Forget. This is how he said it too. I know you want to show like you cute, you got a good body, but how about we put some clothes? How about we cover up? I want to see you actually in some clothes.
But what would you want to see me in?
More of. I want to see you in like more clothes.
Okay.
Right? Like I understand you tall, you want to show your legs. That's what you love about yourself. But I want to kind of see you like in more clothes, if that makes sense.
Okay, so Andre 3000, he has a piano on his back. But what I really want to know is what's in the trash bag? Is that other artist music? What if it was a bunch of albums in there? I don't even want to say the albums because I ain't about to throw that shade at nobody. But what if it was a bunch of other albums in there? Like, oh, you wanted to see what was inside the trash bag? Y'all fill in the blank. Whatever y'all think is the worst. Whatever y'all think albums belong in Andre 3000's trash bag. Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. Albums that you believe go in Andre 3000's trash bag. And I know it's on purpose. I know it's on purpose. And I can't believe that nobody doing interviews asked him. If they did, I have not found the clip. I don't know if he did interviews, but I have to know because it was strategic. It was intentional. It was on purpose. Nobody caught that on camera. I would have been like, okay, cool. So I see a piano on your back, but the trash bag. Now, is that Gucci or is it Glad? You know what I'm saying? Is it unscented or scented? Is it trash or recyclables? I have to know. Are you wearing gloves or not? Because I imagined that the black dandy did not take out his own trash. So, but you know what? Only Andre 3000 could do what he did. And who gonna say what? Nobody. Tracee Ellis Ross, she never disappoints. And she just never does. And I love that she added so much color. Again, it's like, yeah, I can do all of the menswear. I can do all of the inspired themes and everything. But also, you get what I'm saying? Why we ain't got to be all black? We ain't got to be all gray. We ain't got to be pinstripe. We ain't got to be white. This ain't gotta, this ain't gotta look like we on a set of, Jim Carrey's Mask. Somebody did on Instagram, somebody sent me this picture and was like, this is making me think about when you said Melania and her hat. Because I think in a joke, I was like, if that was Tracee Ellis Ross, everybody would have been like, yeah, sis, kill it. And I think that is something about Tracee Ellis Ross. One, she is extremely likable. And, people, we love Tracee Ellis Ross. She is supremely fashionable and she takes risks. She always takes risks. And I think this is cute. I think this is cute and very much in line with her personality. Now, remember when I was talking about Anna Sui and Zendaya, and I was like, yes. Well, this is a no. This is a hell no. I'm so sorry, respectfully, but Madonna, you need to say a prayer in the midnight hour. Okay? And go back to your tailor because this, I don't know who this was supposed to be. And did you walk here? Because why are the bottom of the pan stained so severely? We are dandies. We are black dandies. We ain't walking to the speakeasy. We are getting our horse and carriage ride. We are getting in our black taxis. We are on our bicycles. But we not walking. Maybe is this how you look after you left the speakeasy? The cummerbund is all up and above the top of the pants. What happened? But you do got on a glove and you got a cigar. Maybe she's supposed to be like the disheveled businessman that owns, the jazz club. I don't know, but it's a no for me, Madonna. Okay, so Jodie Turner-Smith and Tiana Taylor. This is not my fave. Neither one of these are my, and I was really looking for Tiana Taylor because it's like, let me tell you, if anybody know how to do sexy menswear, completely covered up, but do sexy menswear, be just as sexy in a freaking 9-piece suit as she is in a bodycon dress that got one of her butt cheeks out, Tiana Taylor. These two looks, they're not my favorite, but what I recognize is they understood the assignment. They just not my favorites just in terms of like style and stuff like that. But what Jodie Turner-Smith and Tiana Taylor understood was the assignment. Okay? They said black dandy black. Oh yeah. And they know how to sell the outfits. They know how to pose with the outfits. They look good in the outfits. It just ain't one. It just ain't something that I'm seeing like, oh yeah, I would have wore that too. No. But they did not come to play. The category is understood the assignment. Now, ain't this something? That is who was giving us black dandy for the past 5 years. What's his name from Pose? How come he ain't on this red carpet? I don't even know if the pronoun is he, so forgive me. The pronoun might be they, I'm not sure. But y'all know who I'm talking about. Pose. And the category is... This woman, I had no idea who she was. I had to look her up because I loved her look so much. So this is Melody Hobson, I believe is her name, and she's standing with George Lucas. And Melody Hobson is, I believe she is the CEO of Starbucks. Melody. That was a typo on my end. Melody Hobson is, and she's married to George Lucas. That's why they together. Well, look at that. And George Lucas is like he's known for like creating Star Wars and stuff. That's a franchise that I know is huge that I never saw. I believe he created Indiana Jones, which I did see when I was a kid. Anywho, I loved her look so much that I had to look her up. Like I said at the beginning, some people's look I'm gonna love so much, I gotta look it up. I loved her look so much. I think the suit fits her perfectly well. Her face looks amazing. There are only a few things that I would change. Like I said, I would have added gloves, but so you see how she has, I don't know if these are crystals or diamonds, like the chains that are hanging from the suit, from the jacket, and the top of the tie. I would have had gloves that were made of all of that. Like not sheer gloves, but I would have had gloves that was made of all like Swarovski crystals or something like that. Like all the crystal accents that we see throughout the suit and hanging on her body, I would have had that in gloves. And then this might be a little bit too like, cause she seems like a very like demure woman, like not demure, but she just seems like, she not going to take a bunch of risks in her aesthetic. Right. I would have also maybe adorned my hair as well. but not too much to take away from how expertly tailored the suit is on her. Like perfect. You know I said everybody was doing black and gray and pinstripe and da-da-da. I just love because this is like a tweak. It just, for me, it's so subtle, but it's, but actually extraordinary. And I think the reason why I like it on her is because she is not, at least not for me, she's not like a celebrity. She's not somebody that's constantly in the public eye. And so I'm not expecting like a grand entrance. Do you get what I'm saying? But like perfectly in line with the theme and looking amazing, in my opinion. I thought that Melody, what was her name again? Melody Hobson did that. Yes. Now I know before I get out of here, I know I said that I am not showing legs, but I really do love Venus Williams' look. And she incorporated like the whole, tennis dress, I love the green. I love her makeup. I love the hair. I don't even think, this is not even a really good photograph of the hair, but I just feel like Venus, I would change one thing. I would change like the way the shirt is fitting. I love the jacket. I love how the jacket is adorned. I would change, if I can't change the way the undergarment is fitting, like the shirt, like I think it's like a polo shirt or something. If I can't, a polo style shirt, if I can't change the fit of the shirt, I would have at least, sometimes with certain outfits, you really do got to practice your pose. I'm a victim of that. When I put on clothes and I got to go on the red carpet, I don't really be practicing the way it's supposed to look. How you really supposed to like take a picture in the clothes. I don't be practicing that. But I imagine the moment that I start gracing a lot of red carpets, I'll probably prioritize that. But if she doesn't change the fit of the shirt, then she just has to be mindful of how she poses in it. But I think that Venus be doing her own thing and be looking kind of really great. And I don't know if people really be on notice with her. I don't know if people really be paying attention to her in the way that she does, because she don't be trying to look like everybody else. She don't be trying to go like she don't be trying to go so avant-garde or so like out there with fashion that it's like, oh, somebody dressing her, that's not really her style. And she don't be trying to go like, oh, uber sexy, like I'm just trying to compete with all the other girls to be like, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate it, Venus. Now, here's the thing. I ain't about to sit up here and cast my opinion on what people look at. Obviously, I saw everybody. If you like, oh, it was so many more people. Yeah, I don't have time to go through everybody. I talked about the people that really impressed upon me, either mostly positive and then just some questionable whatever, But if I didn't mention them, it's because I don't care about they look at this particular event. Or maybe I just missed it. But like my top two standouts were Janelle Monáe and Lauryn Hill, definitely. But I ain't about to sit here and talk about what these people wearing without telling y'all what if I attended the 2025 Met Gala, where the theme was essentially Black Dandy, I would have probably put on something that was a bit more modern day. I would have went with I don't even know if this is possible, but I would have went with a custom made and perfectly tailored suit in the Coogee print. So y'all know Coogee sweaters. I would have went with that in the Coogee print, but centered around that yellow color. But I would have made it a bit more muted because it's going to be so many different yellows and creams and you know what I'm saying? I would have even tried to work in a little bit of black and gray in there. And so it would have had to be kind of like a muted yellow. But I would have did that suit. I don't know what fabric it would have been, but it would have been the Coogee print. But I don't know what fabric that it would have been. It would have probably been the fabric of that the suit that Anna Sweet. It would have had to be like a stiffer fabric, but I would have had to make sure that it's a stiff fabric, but enough flow that it doesn't wrinkle when I sit. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't crease when I sit. Then I would have had on a custom Yankee fitted hat, custom Yankee fitted hat. If y'all know how to do this with like AI, then create it for me, please, so we could see a visual. I would have done a custom Yankee fitted hat matching that Coogee print, but it would have actually been the Coogee sweater material. And a hat would have sat on top of my head, but my hair would have been styled in a perfectly jawline cut bob. And I would have had a gold tooth in my mouth. I was surprised, though. I was surprised that no one came as Diddy. I mean, Diddy is the epitome of black dandy in modern day, before his legal woes, right? In the 90s and the 2000s. You look up black dandy, it's going to be Sean Puffy Diddy Love Combs. I imagine it if he wasn't locked up and he had the ability to change his name at least one more time, he wouldn't have been Love. He would have eventually been Dandy. Sean Dandy Combs. So the fact that nobody showed up looking like Diddy, I'd have showed up. I mean, I wouldn't have, but I wish somebody would have showed up looking like Diddy, and then they would have had somebody else with them looking like Farnsworth Bentley with the umbrella, with some crystals that was supposed to look like raindrops that was falling on the umbrella, and he would have been skipping in with his hands in his pocket talking about. Speaking of umbrellas, Rihanna and A$AP Rocky premiered their new baby bump. They are expecting their third child, and that was revealed on the carpet of the Met Gala. So congratulations to them. Okay, that's it with the main topics, with Z main topics. Let's get into the Ask Z. The Ask Z that I have been putting off for 2 weeks. I apologize. Let's get into this Ask Z. Okay, so this Ask Z, hey Zainab, comes from, I think they actually tell me what to call them. It says, hey Zainab, thank you so much for returning to the podcast space in the social media streets. We need reasonable voices such as yours to counteract the foolery the algorithms reward. Speaking of algorithms, your face on the upload poster was the only reason I opened that show in my Prime Video queue. Let me tell you something. Same thing happened to me. First season of Bridgerton, only reason for weeks people was talking about that show. I never once clicked on it. And then Netflix said, oh, we know how to get her. They showed the Black Queen lady on the poster. I thought it was a whole different show. I said, now who is this black lady with the mole and that's how they got me to watch Bridgerton. They showed me that black lady. So let me just tell you what, them algorithms, they know. They will show. I said this before on the podcast. They will show you the one extra in the movie that is in line with your ethnic group to get you to click on it. If they need your dog to watch it, they gonna show you the dog in the movie. If that's what it takes for you to click on it. They said, oh, we don't know nothing about this lady, but we know she like dogs. Okay. Well, we do have one scene where there's a dog walking by. Let's show her the dog. Get the screenshot of that. Put that on the poster for her algorithm. And yup, sure enough, she gonna click on this. What is this? What is this about a dog? Oh, no, it's Love is Blind? Now, how did that happen? Well, I guess I'm here. Either way, thank you so much for watching. They go on to say, without disclosing enough information for social sleuths to identify me, I'll get to the reasons for my email. Hey, work the reasons in there. I have nearly 2 decades of service working for the U.S. federal government. Sidebar, I'm so happy that you said, or I should say back up rather, I'm so happy that you said social sleuths, because that's how I be feeling. That's how I be feeling, social sleuths. Just listening for clues to try to figure out stuff about you. It's like, whatever. Anyway, I have nearly 2 decades of service working for the U.S. federal government. As you can probably imagine, an already stressful job became mind-bendingly so with the installation of the Mango Menace. In response to directives and executive orders, some of the higher-ups began falling all over themselves to demonstrate their allegiance and capacity for compliance to contradictory anti-American workplace bullying masquerading as efficient administration of public policy. Good thing I can read. Good thing I ain't got no problem reading and reading out loud. Because let me just tell you what. You put all the words, you put all the multi-syllable words in there, okay? Did y'all hear that? Some of the higher-ups began falling all over themselves to demonstrate their allegiance and capacity for compliance to contradictory anti-American workplace bullying masquerading as efficient administration of public policy. Listen. Admittedly, I collected several documents as preparation to become a whistleblower. Then I remembered the subplot of She Hate Me and decided to take cues from Ida B. Wells, Fannie Lou Hamer, Zora Neale Hurston, The Kendrick Bowl, Trisha Hersey's Rest is Resistance Manifesto, and Harriet Tubman. If you ever want to come produce this podcast, let me know. Because I'll be getting a lot of complaints. You don't know what you're talking about. They be acting like I'm supposed to be Mark Lamont Hill. So I just read an email. Somebody requested that. I said, I am not Mark Lamont Hill. Mark Lamont Hill has a doctorate in Black studies or something like that. This is his life. But guess what my life is? Trying to bring humor to your life. And let me tell you what Mark Lamont Hill says about me. Mark Lamont Hill says she is funny as fuck. So if you tune into my shit, you got to tune in because you looking for my POV. You looking for my personality and you looking for me to make stuff funny. Now, if you want facts and history, you got to an expert dive into, blackness, anti-blackness and everything in and around in between that. Then you go tune right into Mark Lamont Hill. He has multiple platforms and shows. If you ever want to produce me, let me know, okay? Amidst mass firings, layoffs, threats of demotions, and other apparent tactics of psychological warfare, including hoarding information and restricting external internet access, meaning not being able to access stuff on the web outside of your employment, right? I trained my team on upskilling and updating resumes just in case any of us received bad news. Plus, it gave us a way to redirect all of that negative energy into positive action. Don't just sit around and complain. What's your actions that you putting in place? Listen, I don't even know if this is an Ask Z or if I just got to ask you if you want to come help me. I also invited my manager to join and shared all the training materials. Zainab, how reasonable would it be to tell my job that I am opting out of their scare tactic shenanigans and will do the bare minimum to match their basic ass expectations? Imagining myself as a digital Underground Railroad conductor sparks more joy than any task I have done in all the years or multiple titles I have held working for Uncle Sam. No relation. I've created dedicated accounts to call forth the opportunities to use my talents to embrace joy, support my family, and escape the inherent pain of capitalism. Thank you for cultivating a space for authentic connections through your comedy and content, and for encouraging me weekly to keep things suitable as I collect these coins while waiting to move into my true vocation. #ImageINation. With sincere gratitude, Black Creative Multiverse. Let me tell you, although this is a letter where you writing in asking me a question, and I'll get to the question, what you have done is you have celebrated me, you have thanked me, and you have poured into me. So thank you so much. When I talk to people who come to the show, who listen to the podcast, they be like, yo, I look forward to you every week. I look forward to you every single week. I just love you. I look forward to you. The weekend lives, like They will be at the show on Saturday. Like, you doing a weekend live tomorrow. And I'll be like, every week I get an email or a message or something that be making me feel, or multiple emails. They be making me feel like I ain't got to do this. I ain't got to do this. And then every week somebody sends me something that affirms what I'm doing. Not only did you guys affirm me at these shows in Arlington this past weekend, but this email, forgive me for taking weeks to get to it. You have affirmed me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I will try my best to continue to be an uplifting voice, a reasonable voice, a joyful voice. And some of the bullshit that the algorithm allows to rise to the top. Now, in regards to your question, how reasonable would it be for you to tell your job that you are opting out of their scare tactic shenanigans and therefore doing the bare minimum? I think it's very reasonable for you to do that, but I think it's unreasonable for you to tell them. I can't remember where I read this or heard this or saw this, but it was like, we have to stop telling people our plans. When we are doing anything in service of a revolution that is leading to our freedom, our path to joy, our path to love, our path to protection, our path to freedom from, as you said, capitalism, as we cannot tell people our plans all the time. We just got to do. And they'll find out. They'll find out at the point where they cannot do anything about it. We have already been emancipated. Does that make sense? So while I think every single thing you said is dope, not only is what you're doing dope, not only is what you're doing proactive, not only is what you're doing meaningful and helpful, you also said it beautifully. But you ain't got to tell them. You ain't got to tell them. Let them find out when you have moved into your true vocation, as you said. Thank you so much for writing in, and good luck. Good luck. That's it. That's it for this episode of I'm Reasonable. I am Zainab Johnson. Thank you so much for tuning in. I think I will be able to do a weekend live this Sunday. Not sure what we're going to talk about. Oh, somebody had wrote in. Maybe we'll talk about, somebody had left in a comment. Maybe we will talk about gift giving. Should you give somebody what they want? Should you give somebody what they need? I don't know. But that might be what we discuss on the weekend live, unless, there's some breaking news stories. But until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Try to be as reasonable as possible. Okay? Bye.